Who knows what geeks like vintage trading cards? The Shadow knows. Hey there, geeks. Coming at you here. A little bit of a different setup here. A little different hat, a little different shirt. That's because we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of The Shadow. Yes, in 1994, July 1st, The Shadow hit theaters. This was a big deal for me. If you listen to the podcast, you know how much I love this movie. My dad got me into the old radio shows, and as the hype was building, I was seeing the ads in DC Comics. This is an old issue of Steel, okay? And there was The Shadow being advertised. But before the movie even came out, I was out there looking for the vintage issues. I got the first issue of The Shadow here, the second issue of The Shadow here when DC started publishing in the 70s, okay? Then even Marvel, like everybody has published The Shadow at some point. Marvel did this really cool like hardcover graphic novel back in the day, and then Dark Horse for a long time was doing the Shadow comics, so they had a great series going. This is actually the first issue of the adaptation of the movie, and then they put it in this really weird trade. It was just 2 issues, so you got that here, but that was a big deal to me. But I mean, The Shadow was everywhere. He didn't make the cover of Wizard, but he did make the cover of Comic Scene and a ton of magazines at the time. This was a multi-million-dollar production. I mean, this was slated to be a blockbuster. It did not hit well. It was covered in Wizard, and guess what? They didn't like it. Most people didn't. It's kind of got a lot of comedy mixed in with like some really like intense or over dramatic heroics and adventure and dark, special effects and things like that. It's a film I just adore to no end. I've watched it so many times. That being the case, I mean, I'm not going to bore you with all the details right now. That's to come. I'll tell you when we get done with opening up these 2 packs of cards. That's right. Topps did release the Shadow movie cards in 1994. Now, I have a full base set of these. What I don't have are the special cards, the chase cards. So I'm hoping we got something in here that's going to make me laugh with glee instead of laugh maniacally. But let's open them up. Let's check it out. All right, so here we are with our pack of the Shadow Deluxe Gold Series trading cards by Topps from 1994. There's 7 super premium trading cards, movie photos, plus new art and Shadow Legend subsets, okay? So this is going to be really cool. This set of cards had some original art that was done by comic book artists, but here we go. They're telling you they want you to read the Dark Horse comic, so it's definitely in conjunction with Dark Horse here. So let's open this up. It's just a fantastic pack. The design of this set in general was just something I loved. Yeah, so see, even from the beginning here, we're spotting the Shadow art, all right? So this is just really creepy. Look what's going on there. We got skeletons. We got like a puppet show going on. Let's read about this. So Michael Kaluta here. Let's see. Artist Michael William Kaluta says the Shadow of the pulp novels and radio days are different types. Quote, most people remember the Shadow of the radio series as Lamont Cranston, wealthy man about town, solving crimes with Margot Lane on his arm. Every once in a while, he became the truly frightening disembodied voice of the Shadow, hounding crooks to their demise. All the pulp readers know he is Kent Allard, world-renowned flyer and adventurer, a man of many lives and disguises. It was in his guise as the Shadow that he began to use agents to extend his web of personal justice. Even the most knowledgeable Shadow archivist will admit that knowing about the Kent Allard connection doesn't reveal very much. The Shadow is still a being shrouded in mystery. Wow, so I love how they're giving some great history on the Shadow. As a fan, I was very aware of that. But now you know. All right, we got some more comic book art here. Let's see who's offering up this one, because that's some good-looking stuff that's based on the movie. Oh, Howard Chaykin. How about that? So comics fan Howard Chaykin added his name to the Shadow legacy in 1986 when he took the character apart in a limited series for DC Comics. Quote, I had a good time drawing the book, Chaykin says. Even though I was never a fan of the pulps, his spin on the crime fighter is purely aesthetic. The thing I like best is there's a black and white feel to the character, he says. Graphically speaking, the white against the black is what is different about him. He started his career as an assistant to comics greats like Gil Kane and Neil Adams, and went on to create his own characters in American Flag and Midnight Men. He recently wrote and drew Power and Glory for Bravura. What is Bravura? Ooh, look at this one here. This is a lot of art in this set. Normally you're just getting the pictures from the movie. This one's cool. Who did this? Kent Williams, okay. The Shadow doesn't look anything like Wolverine, but Kent Williams has made his mark on both characters. He says he couldn't turn down a chance to paint the Shadow. Dark shadows and trench coats? What more would I need to have fun with this one? Who knows? The successful commercial artist has his work sought out by international magazines and comics companies. He illustrated Tell Me Dark for DC, Wolverine Killing for Marvel. His work appears regularly in the American Society of Illustrators annual exhibition. Wow. So yeah, this is some heavy-duty painting skill there. In demand, they say. All right, let's get into some cards that maybe are more related to the film's action. Well, you want action, how about an explosion? That's when Shiwan Khan, that you see there, his nemesis in the film, convinces a taxi driver that he's out of gas, and then he runs into a gas truck. He's able to hypnotize people. So yeah, there we go. We see a nice design here. You got the Shadow up there firing his twin Colt 45s. All right, let's see. This one here is interesting too. So this is, you can't really tell, maybe we'll get a card of him later, but that guy on the bottom right is actually Ian McKellen, who is in this movie. Yes, Magneto was in the Shadow long before the X-Men films, and he gets hypnotized by this Llama Cigarettes board where it changes into the face of Shiwan Khan, and he says, Reinhardt Lane. He's calling out to him, so that's great. All right, let's see. I got two cards here, but they're kind of stuck together. Let me see if I can get them apart. All right, here's one more piece of art. So it's kind of ruined there because these cards got stuck together. Luckily, like I said, I have a full set of these. But the Shadow motion picture, the greatest superhero from radio and Pulp Fiction, returns to the silver screen in Universal's new action adventure, The Shadow. So yes, Alec Baldwin was the Shadow. Penelope Ann Miller was in it. We had Tim Curry, Jonathan Winters. I mean, this was a great production from the director of Highlander, if you like that movie. But yeah, there's Penelope Ann Miller as Margot Lane, looking every bit the 30s screen queen, right? But yeah, I got a little wreck there. That's unfortunate. Lamont Cranston spots Margot Lane at the Cobalt Club, one of Manhattan's ritziest nightclubs. He is instantly attracted to her, not as much for her obvious attributes, but for a less tangible perception he senses. Yes, so she has the ability also to read people's minds. But here we go. Here's our second pack, so let's get into that. The other thing is here, we didn't get any special cards, but it says, look for random Topps Finest Shadow Chase cards. Although it doesn't break down what those are. That's why I'm curious. I'm just like, it doesn't tell you what to expect, but I've seen them online when I search for Shadow things. So maybe I'll recognize it if it pops up here. All right, well, here is a picture from the finale. Alec Baldwin ends up going down a laundry chute, and he's in pursuit of Shiwan Khan, who's on the run. But he ends up in a hall of mirrors, which is cool. All right, here's Tim Curry. All right, he is in this giant sphere where they can test pressure, and he traps the Shadow in there as Farley Claymore. Claymore, you idiot! So yeah, that's great. Now there's Peter Boyle, who you might know from Young Frankenstein or Everybody Loves Raymond. And so they are seeing this giant, the Monolith Hotel, which suddenly appears because Shiwan Khan had hypnotized the entire city that this giant hotel wasn't there, and he turned it into his base of operations. But at the end, when the Shadow defeats him, that hypnotism is lost. All right, so we've been talking about him, but there's Shiwan Khan, John Lone, just looking so majestic on his cool armor. What does it say here? Shiwan Khan thwarts pursuit by destroying everyone who will not join his twisted cause. After killing a security guard, Khan travels from the museum to his secret headquarters, the old Hotel Monolith. See? All right, let's see what else we got here. Here's some cool Shadow art, but again, it got stuck to another card, so it's ruined. But this is Jim Steranko art, which is pretty awesome. Let's see what this says here. The Shadow first materialized on July 31st, 1930 as the mysterious narrator of Street and Smith's Detective Story Hour, a CBS radio series dramatizing mystery stories from the pages of the first detective fiction magazine. James Locurdo played the role for the first few broadcasts, but it was the venomous tones and sinister laugh of Frank Reddick that made the Shadow a national sensation. Reddick went on to terrorize the nation when he described a Martian invasion in Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast in 1938. So there you go. Let's see. All right, we have more Shiwan Khan. This is him emerging from Genghis Khan's crypt. He emerges at a museum. The evil Shiwan Khan has arrived in New York. All right, finally, very few the shadow cards, of the title character, but here we have Margot Lane just one more time with that sly smile. While out with Lamont Cranston several days later, Margot Lane receives a gift from him. Margot proudly puts on the ring that makes her an official agent of the Shadow. She's only too glad that all the trouble is past so that they can go back to their ordinary lives. Cranston isn't as certain. But yeah, getting an agent ring of the Shadow is still a dream of mine. Maybe it'll arrive someday. He'll ask me, or he'll state, "The sun is shining," and I'll respond, "But the ice is slippery." All right, let's see which of these is my favorite. All right, so that was a lot of fun to go through those packs. I was lamenting a little bit not having a Shadow Agent ring. I do technically have a Shadow Agent ring, but this is a Shadow Club membership ring. That's right. I'm an official card-carrying member of the Shadow Fan Club. I actually mailed away back in the day, right after I saw the movie. Yes, I saw it twice in 3 days, because I saw it when it came out on the 1st, then I saw it on the 4th of July. So I was doing my patriotic duty to the Shadow. Anyway, I'll pick my favorite card here. I'll just say it's got to be the Shiwan Khan, because he just looks so creepy and otherworldly, especially when he emerges from the tomb. It's really great in the movie. So, if you are interested in getting more Shadow in your life this week, if you're going to celebrate this 30th anniversary, we're going into a holiday weekend, so we actually are doing something special. For our episode this week, we're unlocking from Patreon our bonus 90s Super Cinema podcast all about the Shadow. So Michael, Pete, and I, we talk about the Shadow. We had a great conversation. And so we're doing that. I'm also going to be on the After Lunch podcast, where I'm going to be talking in depth about the film with the host who had only heard of it. He'd never seen it. So this is the first time watching. Is me and another super fan, Paxton Hawley, who has been on Wizards back in the old days, first year. And so want to just let you know that if you want to see some more of that, you can find that there, as well as on my own personal channel. If you look for Hoju Coolander on YouTube, I'm going to be showing off more bits of my Shadow collection. I've done it in the past. I've collected many things over the years, but this year with the anniversary, I've splurged a little bit and bought a few more items. So if you just want to get more Shadow than you can handle, it is coming to you this week. But hey, thanks so much for checking out this video, and we'll be back with more soon. See you later.